Welcome to the Atlanta Men's Workshop speaker and workshop recordings. Atlanta Men's Workshop is held every spring and fall at the Rock Eagle 4-H campus in Eatonton, Georgia. That's just about an hour east of Atlanta, Georgia. Please visit our website at atlantamensworkshop.com or see the link below to find dates and details to join us. Partial scholarships are available to those in need. We hope you enjoy this presentation, and we hope you will come join us at the Rock. Until then, we shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then.
All right, welcome everybody to the Earlybird meeting. Let's have a meeting. Do we ever start with the serenity prayer? Yes, sir. All right, you guys, we're going to kick this off with the serenity prayer. Let's have a moment of silence for the sick and suffering alcoholic and the poor soul that doesn't know that this workshop exists. Hopefully they find their way to the Rock. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, everybody, my name is Matt, and I am an alcoholic.
Hey, Matt.
And, I just want to welcome back all the guys that have been here before, but more importantly, I want to welcome you guys out there with the yellow lanyards. Man, you guys are what make my weekend, right? You guys are what make my weekend, man. Just getting to meet you all, welcome you here, make you feel comfortable, and hopefully you all come back, because that's the thing, man. My first time coming here, it was right after the Earlybird meeting, and I was already pumped up, ready to come back to the next Rock, and the first one I've been to just started. Because there's this energy that we bring here, and it's something that I've never felt anywhere else in my life. It's a very special place and a very special thing that we have here. We got a lot of workshops planned out this weekend. We got some step work stuff going on as well. There's some really cool speakers. But my favorite part, man, is that in-between time, just hanging out, bullshitting, meeting new people, and seeing old friends, man. I've made a lot of friends coming out here. I get a lot of phone numbers by the time the weekend's over. So if you guys see me standing around, if it seems like I'm standing there talking to somebody, having a conversation, just jump on in, man. Just jump on in. Don't be afraid. Because that's what we're here for. We're here for each other. And more than anything, we want you new guys to just to feel welcome, and feel like you're in a place. My entire life, man, I spent my whole life trying to be a part of something. I remember in school, I'd bounce around from this group to that group, and I just never felt like I fit in anywhere. I always felt like a misfit, But here at the Rock, man, I feel like I'm a part of something great for once in my life. It's just the most magical thing, and it's so hard to explain. In a little while here, we'll get some guys going and talking and sharing their experience too. You'll hear these you'll hear these guys talk about what they experience and what makes this place special to them. And I can't really sum it up. I can't. It's the feeling that I get the moment that we pull in. And from the first Rock that I was here, I was helping Brian pick up the snacks and the fruit and all the pastries and stuff, for snack time later. And that's become my regular thing now, man. Brian picks me up Friday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. We go get our snack stuff. We bring it here. And, and the cool part about that is I got to meet this guy here who just happens to be walking by, asked if we needed help, And so he helps us unload the stuff, instantly make a new friend. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. Like, we're here for each other, And I remember the first Rock that I came to, I was thinking, like, man, what am I going to get out of this? What am I going to get out of this? But then by the time the day one ended, I found out that, man, I got stuff to give. It's not what I get. It's what can I give to the Rock. So, every year I've been volunteering to help and doing whatever I can to keep this thing going, because it's just such a magical thing. It's one of the coolest things I've ever been to, when you're hanging out with 400 guys out in the middle of the woods, you know, and it's not creepy, you know? You know what I mean? A little bit. Some of y'all might get creeped out when they start talking about hugging the trees and stuff, but I'll leave that for somebody else. But you want to throw anything in for a little bit here?
What's up, brothers? My name's Billy, and I'm an alcoholic. Hey. Who's glad to be here? I can't hear that. Who's glad to be here? All right. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Leave that out there at the gate. If you didn't leave it, go leave it now. All right. My challenge to you, first of all, is I want you to look for the guy that's out there hiding. All right. They're all out there hiding right now, looking at their shoes, afraid to look up. You guys are here. You guys are here. All right. Welcome to the 83rd Atlanta Men's Workshop. I've been coming to the Atlanta Men's Workshop since I got sober. My sobriety date is 12/28/2004. I'm a rock baby, and I'm proud of being a rock baby, okay? I came to the Atlanta Men's Workshop for the first time with a few months sober and fully convinced that you guys were still wrong, right? And my sponsor, you guys will get to meet him a little later on Sunday morning, but he encouraged me to fill out a piece of paper and then come to Atlanta, and it's not Atlanta at all, right? That was the first resentment I had. I'm like, we're not in Atlanta. This ain't Atlanta, right? I'm from Florida, okay? But I came to the Atlanta Men's Workshop, and I was scared to death. I was one of the people standing out there on the outside looking in. On the outside looking in. Scared to death that you were not going to like me. Scared to death you wouldn't like the shirt that I had on. Scared that you wouldn't like the socks that I was wearing, and the boxers too. Fully convinced that my image would not hold the test. Right? I came to the Atlanta Men's Workshop full of fear. Full of fear. And when I got here, there was a group of guys standing outside of this building, and they were laughing. They were laughing loudly. And my sponsor opened the door of the car. He said, I want you to get out and go talk to those guys. See you Sunday. And drove off. Right? And that was the beginning of my experience with the Atlanta Men's Workshop. I walked over and I stood about 10 feet away looking at my feet. And one of them looked at me and he said, what's up, young man? And he walked over and he put his arms out. He gave me a hug. And from that moment on, the ice melted from my eyes. My heart began to open for my first highly effective spiritual experience that ever happened in my life, right? When the Atlanta Men's Workshop happens every year, it's funny, man. I used to, when I was going anywhere in my life before I got sober, I had already looked at the map, tried to figure it out. They didn't have Google Maps back then, right? But I had the atlas out looking and trying to find the street where I knew I could find what I wanted when I got there because they had what I wanted, right? I knew where that was every single time. And when I came to the Atlanta Men's Workshop for the first time, I had no idea that what I wanted was all the way around here everywhere. Right? For those that are, raise your hand and stand up for me if you're wearing a yellow tag. Come on, let's see you. Let's see you. All right, right. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right, right. Guys, you wearing that yellow tag for one reason and one reason only, so that we could come up and meet you, right? It's not our job for you to stand over there and us stand over here. We're going to come and get you. We're going to come and invite you into our conversation at our seat at the table, right? Nobody has a better seat than anybody at the table at the Rock. Except for you. You are the most important people here, right? If you are here on scholarship, we don't care. We do not want to know if you're here on scholarship, right? We have invested in our sobriety, and we're glad you're here so that you can do that for somebody in the future, all right? So welcome to the Atlanta Men's Workshop if you're here for the first time, right? Who hasn't been here in a long time and coming back for the first time? Stand up. Go ahead. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. If this is your first time or your 100th time, it doesn't matter. We're all here, all right? Any expectations you have are nothing but mere prejudices of what are going to happen this weekend. If you write down what you think is going to happen at the Atlanta Men's Workshop, you would be selling yourself short. This is an organic weekend. Let it happen as it will. And be sure that you don't hang out with the people you came with. Go meet some new people. There are men from all over the country and a few from out of the country, legally, maybe, all right? But there are, right? Don't aid and abet anybody, I'll tell you that. But be sure you get some numbers. The network of an ever-widening circle of peace on earth and goodwill towards men is here. Don't be afraid to go get some numbers, right? And don't be shy about the God of your understanding. He is here, and he's glad you're here, right? He's not the one who's hiding. I promise you, the God of our understanding is not the one who's hiding this weekend, all right? Now is the fun part. We are about to get up and pass this microphone around. If you double dip, we will carry you out and have a conversation, okay? This guy will, all right? No double dipping. Don't raise your hand twice, okay? But we have plenty of guys, and we want to hear about your experience about the Atlanta Men's Workshop, what it's been like for you and what you are doing now, okay? If it's your first time, raise your hand. Let's hear about it. I want to hear about your fears, and I want to hear about your excitement, all right? So raise your hand. We have a mic going around. It's being recorded, so watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. All right, let's go.
My name is Todd, alcoholic. I'd like to thank my higher power for allowing me to be here today sober. For that, I'm truly grateful. And welcome to all the newcomers. You are the most important person at this rock. Man, this is probably about my 38th or 39th rock. And before I came here, I used to see these guys at the meeting, right? They'd be running around, passing this sheet around. I was like, damn, what they doing? They going to the rock. I said, what's the rock? They said, oh, it's this thing where 400 men go out in the woods. I was like, oh, hell nah. I said, I ain't trying to go out in the woods with no men. But when they came back, they were like glowing, man. They was running around all spiritual and shit, you know, doing the right thing. And I was like, maybe I should go out there and try. But when I came here, I was one of them jokers that was hiding in plain sight. You know what I mean? I wanted to show up. I didn't want nobody to know I got a scholarship when I got here. You know what I mean? Because I was ashamed of that. You know, I want you to think I'm Big Willie and I ain't need a scholarship, but I was broke as a joke, right? And I came up in here, man, and my sponsor told me, don't hang around with people that you came with. Find some new people. Find some people you can tell shit to, secrets to, and you won't see them for another 6 months. They live way on the other side of the country. And I did that, man. I tried it. I just sparked up a conversation, man, and got to know a person. And once that fire was lit, I started going to different people and start going to the different workshops, man. I was just here just to hang out, you know what I mean? But I'm telling you, man, something happened. The Spirit of God and my higher power allowed me to meet men that I've heard the same thing they said from other people, but it's something special that happens here. And when it came from them, I heard it differently. And by Sunday, I was so high, spiritually high, that I left out of here in my blue Suburban and I rolled out the gate. It was a whole line of us rolling, right? We gets down the highway on 20, I'm rolling. Sounds, I'm going down the highway and these people are blowing at me. I ain't paying no attention. I'm just riding, floating, getting on out of here, right? Everybody blowing their horn. Finally, a semi-truck came up and swerved over because he was trying to give me a signal to pull over. My car was on fire. And I didn't know. My brake line had broke and the friction had caught it on fire. I'm rolling. I don't see nothing. I got smoke and shit all over the place. And I pulled over, man, and about 4 guys from the rock pulled over with me, man, make sure I was straight. And But man, all I can tell you, man, is do something different, man. Don't hang out. And it's not like you get here and you say, I don't want to be with my boys. I want to open myself up to something new, man. Go talk to somebody new, man. Tell them about some shit. You know that thing that you said you wasn't never going to tell nobody? Find me or find somebody else and tell them about that thing you said you'll never tell them about. And the sex and sobriety workshop tonight, please come to it. It's helped me immensely. You know what I mean? Give yourself a break. You're here. You can grab any of us. And if you don't grab us, we will grab you. Believe that. I'm looking. I'm looking for yellow tags and ropes, not because we're trying to pull you out. It's because we're trying to help you, man, because somebody helped us when we got here. You know what I mean? The only way this shit works, if we keep doing it and it keeps rolling and keep coming and you keep welcoming new people. So welcome and thanks for letting me share. Appreciate it.
Richard, alcoholic. And I was just like Billy. I was scared and hiding. But something happened. I came to my first rock with about a year sober, and something happened. I risked letting somebody get to know me. I risked trusting. And I think what I left here, I wasn't on fire like Todd was, but I left with hope. I left with hope. I wasn't isolated anymore. I didn't feel so different. So you're going to look around this weekend, you're going to see all kinds of different men. And you're going to say, well, I'm better than that one. I'm not as good as that one. And all that stuff that separates us, that's garbage. We got to get past that and make that connection. And what I challenge you to do this weekend is to risk trusting somebody. Risk letting them get to know you. And that's what I had never done until I came to this rock, because I had a good program, but we do it deep here. So risk letting somebody get to know you. Risk opening up and being real. And that's what we do here, is we get real. Not that we don't do that back at our home groups, but it's at a deeper level here. And there's so much wisdom here, the opportunity to be of service, and then there's so much wisdom. I found sponsors and role models. I found men I could emulate and admire, and I needed that so bad. So that's my challenge to you. I want to welcome you if you're here for the first time. If you hadn't been for a while, I want to welcome you back. And those that have been coming all these years, I want to thank you for coming, because this is one of the best AA workshops there is in the country. Thank you. I'm Richard. I'm alcoholic.
Good afternoon. My name is Tay. I'm an addict, alcoholic. I'm from Georgia, but I live in Tallahassee. I thank God that I'm here today, and I am scared. This is my first time speaking in front of a lot of people, and I can relate where he came from and the other guys, but I'm willing to face my fear, because that's what part of my recovery is, facing the fears, and I've been learning that the whole time I've been in recovery, for a year and 2 months today. So I'm gonna keep on coming back, and I'm looking forward to bring more people back next year. Hey man, I'm in it. Grab me. Thanks for letting me share.
My name's Mike Skinner. I'm an alcoholic. Hey, everybody. What's up, Larry? That's Doc to all his friends. I call him Larry. Yeah, y'all heard what Billy said, and that same guy brought me to my first 2 rocks, and he wasn't my sponsor, but he said the same thing to me. He said, I'll see you Sunday. And what it was about that guy, and the reason I was willing to come is because he told me I should, because I'd heard him speak about a month prior, and for the first time in my life, the thought crossed my mind that maybe I could trust that guy. So I gave it a chance, and I started trusting that guy, and my life started to improve because he started showing me how to live the steps. And then he said, I signed you up for this thing that we're going to go to in March. And I didn't ask any questions. I just came. We got here on, actually on Thursday night, we came up, went to dinner, went to a local meeting, then came down on Friday morning. And he said, I'll see you Sunday. And at that first rock, I met this guy named Ron Jackson, rest his soul. And I found another man that I thought maybe I could trust. And I did. And I started developing a relationship with him. Then I came back to the next rock. And I took a chance to go into the chapel because, see, I didn't like God. I was mad at him for a long time. But I had started developing my conception, and I'd become able to say and hear his name without cringing. And I went into the chapel, and I sat in the chapel for a little bit while some other people were in there. And then for the first time in my sobriety, I got down on my knees and I prayed to God. Not to my conception, but to God. And I had a conversation. I sat still for a little bit. Something came over me, and I come rushing out of the chapel. Mark happened to be standing up on top of the hill with Ray, and who may be here this weekend, I'm not sure. And when I looked up, he was, that old belly laugh that he has. He was laughing, asking me what had happened, and I told him, he's like, man, it's okay. You just experienced your first little bit of peace in your life, And here's what I got to tell you. The work ain't that hard because we'll meet you right where you're at. All you got to do is extend your hand, and we will come to you. You ain't got to come to us. That's what these men in this room and in many rooms just like them have done for me. And when you catch on fire and you find out what it's all about, the relationship that you can have with another man and the trust that you can have another man, if you're anything like me, that stuff don't go away. Because it's the best drink I ever had, the best dope I ever had, the best feeling I ever had is being able to feel some trust in someone else, because they taught me and showed me how to be trustworthy, through the process of the steps. I've learned a lot at coming to these workshops. I've only been to 3. I've been to this one, Oak, and Central Florida is my home, and I go to that one as often as possible, which I think I've missed one in sobriety because Mama was in the hospital. And that's it. I have good reasons today. I don't have excuses today. Men in this room and just like this room taught me those kind of things, And I have a network all over the country of men that I trust today because today I'm trustworthy. They got me in the book. They got me in the steps, which is the program. I haven't used the phrase my program in a lot of years because my program got my seat in the rooms in the first place. And for the first 3 years, there's an old dude that walked around in suspenders and a straw hat that said a bunch of stuff that I didn't understand. And because I was so full of crap, he said a bunch of stuff I didn't like either. And he's one of my dearest friends today because what he said to me was things that I didn't understand because I didn't have the capacity to think clearly and to think realistically for a long time. And I learned that through building a relationship with him. Through building a relationship with God, I'm able to build a relationship with y'all and myself. So I'm glad to be back at the Rock. Love you guys.
I'm Alvin, I'm an alcoholic. It's my first time at the Rock. I try to think of every excuse I can think of not to have to come. I was like, okay, what the heck am I going to do up there with all these men? I don't want to go to a meeting every 5 minutes, So I just really, I'm glad I did come, though. I got a guard, and I put it up, and it's been like that my whole life. So trusting anybody, whether it was a man or a woman, it just never happened, So I haven't been able to stay sober in over 30 years for any extended period of time. And I heard a saying that if you want something different, you got to do something different. So here I am. Thanks for sharing. Let me share.
Right? Just hang on. It might get better. It might.
I'm Jason. I'm an alcoholic. This is my first time here. Appreciate it. My sponsor reached out to me, Trey, and he said, I want to invite you to this men's retreat. Back probably, almost a year ago, he would have asked me that. I would have ducked and dodged, came up with an excuse. But when he told me, I got lit up, and I was so excited, not knowing what to expect, but just coming because I know God got something for me here. So the weeks leading up to it, I'm just getting more and more excited. And again, I'm the type of person, I keep a lot of things in. Even now, still almost a year in my recovery, still a lot of things I hold in. So to be amongst my peers who can relate, I'm already feeling some peace. And I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Hey everybody, my name's Reed. I'm an alcoholic. So this is my first time here. So this guy here, Kenny, he's making me do stuff I don't want to do. Like, first off, I tried. So I was making a bunch of excuses not to come here. I kept saying I have to work every weekend. He's like, I don't give a fuck. You're going to take off. You're going to come here. Blase, blase. He passed me this mic, so he just keeps doing things I don't want to do. Someone hugged me outside, and I'm not a big hugger. I don't know where he's at. He's somewhere in here. And I was there. And I was like, be there. But I'm glad to be here, and thank you for letting me share.
My friends call me Tennessee, and I am an alcoholic. A few of them call me other things. I'm that old gray-headed man that wears a straw hat. And this is not bibbed overalls. In Tennessee, they call this the weekend leisure suit. I don't know exactly how many workshops I've been to, but I need at least one more. My wife helps me pack my clothes 2 weeks before the workshop. And y'all laugh, but I know some of y'all's wives do it too. The thing that amazes me is how much better my wife and I get along after I come back from the workshop. I came in here last night while it was dark and drove through the park. I didn't feel anything different. I just saw the buildings, drove around by the cook shack, looked at the auditorium, went back to Madison. I didn't feel anything. Nothing happened. When I got here today, we drove by the guard shack, and I could feel it in the air. I don't know what it is. But guess what? When you're not here, it's not here. You got to be bringing it with you. And I get to witness that. I started coming to workshops when I was 7 or 8 months sober. And up to date, I've made about 100 workshops. California, Roanoke, Atlanta. And we have a little thing we started down in Central Florida a few years ago. I cannot tell you how important it is to spend time with these old people in the rooms who have already done everything you've done, and we wrote the book that you're reading. I had a friend named Steve, and he made this statement at every workshop. If you think you've done something that nobody else in the world's done, and it's so terrible you can't talk to anybody about it, come and see some of us old-timers. I'll introduce you to 2 or 3 guys that's done the exact same thing you've done. There's nothing unique or special about any of us. We are garden variety drunks. Nothing about us is unusual, except maybe our DNA and our fingerprints. And we left in a lot of, I love your shirt, by the way. I spent a little time there. A little facility called Brushy Mountain. You may have heard of it. That's what we call public housing up in Tennessee. I'm glad to be here. I needed to be here. And my wife is very glad I'm here. Thank y'all.
My name's Ted, and I'm an alcoholic from Tallahassee, Florida. This is my second rock. I came back in March, and when I first got here, I was like, yeah, hanging out in the woods with a bunch of guys. I don't know. Campfire sounds okay. It'd be nice to do it without drinking. And I didn't have real big expectations. I had a buddy who, mainly my sponsor, who kept on talking about the rock. And I saw what he had, and I wanted what he had. And he would always go to the rock. And he'd talk about it, and come back, and he'd be all energized. I was like, what is this rock? And I finally decided I would go with him. I kept on making excuse after excuse. And I finally said, all right, I'll go. And when I got here, they talked about, you're going to get it. But let us know when you get it. It's not gonna. Sometimes it happens right away, and sometimes it happens afterwards. Sometimes it happens in the middle, but you will get it. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a line. I didn't get it till I left here. When I got home, I wanted to get my butt right back here and be around all y'all. And that is what they mean, you'll get it. Because this program, this here, is what it's all about. This is what recharges me every 6 months, and I plan on keeping on doing it. And I appreciate y'all for being here. Thanks, Ted, alcoholic.
Gotcha. Oh, hey guys, I'm Kenny Thomas. I'm a real alcoholic, and I'm sober today by God's grace and mercy in the company I keep. I don't know the number. I started coming here. My first work I came to, I picked up my 90-day chip here. It was 2007, October 2007, so I don't know. And I didn't want to come like a lot of other guys. In fact, I was talking with this guy on the phone, and he said, Kenny, we go to this thing called the Rock. And I was like, I said, damn, I just finished smoking this. You want me to go back to it? I said, man, what's that? He said, well, it's when 400 men get together in the woods. I said, well, and Don. I said, yeah, well, Don, wait, hold on, wait. I'm city. I'm a city guy. Although I'm from Tallahassee, so go figure. But I'm a city guy. And I don't do country, and I don't do 400 men in the woods. It just didn't add up. But he said, this is what we do. So I came here. And my story's real long with it, so I'm going to be here for an hour anyway with you guys, so we're okay, right? Damn. All right, it's a bad joke. All right, so what happened was we get up here, and I was cut loose and was like, hey, get numbers, see you Sunday. And then I was challenged by a guy. This dude said, Kenny, I'm looking at you, Doc, because I'm cross-talking. He said, when you find it, let me know. He said that to me Friday. And dude, I had my first spiritual experience out here. There's a gentleman in this room, I think, who shared his experience with me, and something happened. I was alive. This stuff is real, and I didn't know what was going on. And I was crying and laughing and didn't know what was up. But something happened. That Sunday, Doc asked me, Ken, did you find it? I said, I don't know what it is, but whatever you're talking about, I want it. And I've been coming back since. And I've been doing what I don't want to do so I can be who I want to be. There's power that happens here. There's love that happens here. Steps have come alive for me here. God has come alive for me here, and I'm able to share it out there. And Tennessee, like you, my wife was happy for me to come here. She used to think this was like some red carpet event until she had to come here for an event with my daughter, and she was like, oh, you can go back there anytime you want to. And I've been back since. So, guys, if you're new here, come talk to us. And I will come talk to you. Thank y'all. Love you.
Everybody ain't got to stand up and clap. Okay. My name is Larry R. I'm a grateful recovering addict. Hey, Larry. All my friends do call me Doc. Hey, Larry. If you find some sugar in your gas tank, anyway, Tennessee, they wouldn't have believed that you was Dr. Bob and I was Bill. Yeah, they wouldn't believe that. But it happened that way. Somebody woke up out of a nightmare and says, oh my goodness, Dr. Bob and Bill. If there's anybody, wait a minute, let me ask you something. Are there any drug addicts or alcoholics in this room? Yes. Okay, put y'all hands down, because y'all ain't no drug addicts or alcoholic. Y'all full of self. That's what it is y'all full of self. Once you get away from the self, then the other stuff is gonna disappear. Now, I got something else I would like to share with the newcomer. You want to find it? Go out there and hug a tree. Now, you're laughing. Okay, you're laughing. Go hug a tree and then come back and laugh in my face. And while you're hugging the tree, say the serenity prayer. And then come back and find me and laugh in my face. If that don't work, then go down there to the pond and jump in. Now, I'm glad all you guys are here. I've been to a ton of these. My first one was in March of 1990. My sponsor told me I was coming, and I didn't know where I was going to, and I've been here ever since. Since 1990. So that puts me at 2 a year. Do the math. Y'all do the math. I can't add. Okay, but what I really want to say to you gentlemen, especially you first timers, okay? Come find me. I'm in 55. That's all I want you to do.
Hello, everybody. I'm a real alcoholic named Trey. So this is my second rock, and I'm truly grateful, because my first experience at the rock, it taught me two things: that I could be vulnerable and still be okay, and that I could trust people. And this is how my adventure ended up starting. I ended up having problems for every solution. So the guy who wanted me to come here, I told him I didn't have no money or a way there. So he got me a scholarship and he got me a ride. And the two people that I rode here with are here again this year with other people. I just happened to bring a sponsee. He came with a friend, So here it is a year later and we're all back in the same space. My vulnerability came when some guys from Ocala, Florida came to my room at 10 o'clock at night and was like, hey, we're getting ready to go hike to the effigy. And I'm looking at this group of white guys, and I'm the only black guy, and I'm like, yeah, this looks like a bad movie, right? Like, I'm sitting there like, okay, well, I think I'm gonna go. So as we're walking down some path and some stairways and a bridge, and we get out to the part that says we have to follow these white lines that are on the trees, and it's pitch black dark, and all our phones are almost dead because we've been TikToking all day. So we're traversing through the forest. It is a 2-mile hike. So when you're at 10:30 at night with a bunch of young white guys, and you're the only black guy, and you're at 10:30 at night, and you're trying to look on the ground to make sure you don't run into nothing, and you're trying to look around to make sure you don't run into spider webs, and you're hearing all kind of noises and things that you're not used to, because I'm originally from California, so all of this wilderness is new to me. And I'm okay though. I'm at peace the whole time, and we're laughing and we're joking, and we're like, dang, we ain't never gonna get there. What if we don't find our way? We go get stuck in the darkness. But we found our way. And when we get to the effigy, there's a watchtower, and we get to the watchtower and we walk in and everybody's like, shh, be quiet. And I'm like, what? Well, there were people lined up along the walls of the inside of the watchtower and on the stairs praying and meditating. And so when I walked in, we had to be quiet so that way I can meditate as well. We meditated there for about a half an hour. And then we met up on the grass out in front and laid out on the grass, like literally like a bunch of little kids. And we just introduced ourselves to each other. We allowed ourselves to be vulnerable. We allowed the moment to happen. That was the most trusting and most vulnerable experience I've ever had in my recovery. And from that day, I was like, man, this is something that is bigger than me. If I never could figure out anything that was bigger than me, it wasn't the men, it was the moment that I allowed myself to be vulnerable and allow God in. That was a great experience for me. So to come back a year later and to see all of the people that I met before, to remember those conversations that I had with Tennessee during lunchtime, because he's a little bit out there, so y'all got to talk to him. Great conversation. And some of these faces that I see today are faces from people that I know outside in the rest of the world, people that I speak to every weekend. So I allow God to be the person and the thing in my life that connects me to everything else and to continue my recovery. Thank you for letting me share.
My name is James, and I am a grateful recovering addict. Sometimes I have to ask myself, is this real, where I stand today? I have to ask myself, is this real, where I'm standing today? Because I was a stone, straight out junkie and crackhead. And I felt like the world did not like me. I was the baby that was left in the trash can at Grady Hospital when I was 1 week old. And I really had resentments towards this world because I felt nobody cared. But I found different. When I met my sponsor and I met my brothers and sisters at the Chuckle Turtle, they have shown me unconditional love for the past 6 years. And that's the only reason why I stand here today, due to the grace of God. And somebody, I don't know who, made it possible for me to be here today. And looking at y'all brothers and talking to y'all has shown me that there is love in this world. There is people still with generosity and care. And this is an experience that I would never forget. And someone asked me the other day, what do I have to think about the way I'm living now? And I told them this plain today. Before I go back out there to that madness and insanity, I would rather die. Because for the love I have for my sponsor, Bobby, and the brothers and sisters at Tucker Turtle, I don't see it in my heart doing them that way. Because they done for me what I couldn't do for myself. They loved me unconditionally when I didn't love myself. I wanted to die. I spent the age of 16 to 29 incarcerated in the state penal system, locked up. And now I'm free. And I listen to people talk about their mother and their father and all the issues. I thank God for giving me the ability this day to be able to love someone without having animosity in my heart and realize what I went through was a teaching. And I share, if you know your biological family, love them, because I never got a chance to have that right. My teenage years was spent behind bars with a life sentence. It's only by his grace I'm standing out here. And when I got caught up in the madness of this disease of addiction, it's only by y'all grace and my sponsor and others yet to come who made this possible that I'm standing here today. And I recognize that. And I thank y'all for being here, because without y'all, I wouldn't be here. Thank you.
Hey family, my name is Don Bryan. I'm a real alcoholic. And it's by God's grace and the company I keep, I haven't found it necessary to pick up a drink or a drug today. And for that, I'm truly grateful. And I want to thank every man in this room for being here, because I can't do this by myself. How's everybody doing? See, I remember my first rock. I had about 6 months. And, you know, like Kenny, I'm a city guy. You know, I saw a possum and I almost had a heart attack. Oh, fuck. You know? And in the big book it says, we are people who normally would not mix. But here at The Rock, we are now people who mix normally. So the musical theme for this weekend, if anybody's into hip hop, is I Wanna Rock Right Now. Hit it. I wanna rock right now. See, when I came in, I looked like walking death. I was about 115 pounds. I had the shakes. I was scrambled eggs. I couldn't spell cat if you spotted me the C and the T. And so I was before we go there, don't ask. Don't ask me. That's right. Because I wear them all the fucking time. I wear them all the time. Don't ask me. But I was back there with the coffee, and I saw this old timer, and I said, you know, I'm real confused. In AA, they use the big book. In CA, they use the big book. And I know the difference between alcohol and cocaine, so what's the difference? And he said, well, it's real simple, Don. In AA, we do our sugar like this. And in CA, we do our sugar like this. So if you're here, you were gonna laugh a lot, we're gonna cry a lot, and I'm a long timer. This is my 60th rock. So if you need to talk, come on, I'm all ears. Thanks for letting me share.
My name is Rayshawn. I'm an alcoholic. This microphone is not as loud as I thought it was going to be, but it's plenty loud. It's plenty loud. This is, I think, like my 8th or 9th rock, somewhere around there. The last one I went to, I believe, was in 2019. Then the pandemic happened. We didn't have one for a little while, and I haven't been back until now. And this is actually a perfect time for me to be here. So I had just gotten a new job a couple months ago, and they told me to kick rocks yesterday. Well, not exactly like that, but I'm still a little tender about it. But in any case, I'm glad to be here, and this is perfect timing. My very first rock was in March of 2015. I had about 9 months sober at the time. And I remember right before the Saturday speaker meeting, they had the raffle ticket and all of that, and then they did a sobriety countdown. So everybody stands up and they count down, and we'll count up to the person with the most sobriety in the room, and somebody had like 50 years or something. And then everybody stands back up and they count down to the person with the least amount of sobriety in the room. So, I'm just I'm sitting around and everything, and then they get down to a person who had like 1 day, and everybody stands up and they start clapping. And I stand up and I start clapping, I start crying. And I'm standing next to my buddy Cornbread, he crying, I'm crying. And it was because I'm not a crier. Kenny is my sponsor, he knows I am not a crier. But that was a moment that, it just brought out that, because even at that time of only having 9 months sober, I understood how special it was to get that white chip, and I understood how special it was to be a part of Alcoholics Anonymous. Even in that short amount of time, I had experienced seeming almost more than I'd ever experienced up to that point in my life as far as a spiritual experience. And I'm an individual that grew up going to church. My father was a minister, so I am not, the idea of God is not foreign to me. But being in AA has been something completely different in a lot of ways, but it's been a lot more impactful. So I'm really glad to be back here, and that's enough out of me. Thanks for letting me share.
Hey, I'm Brad. I'm an alcoholic, and I like all the other drugs too. I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm grateful that you are here. All of you. I believe that before I ended up in this room right now with this microphone, which, by the way, where I go to meetings, they would never give me a microphone. I believe that something that's bigger than me knew that I was going to be here right now. And that thing also knew that every one of you were going to be in here. It knew which way I was going to walk to go to every meal and every meeting, and it orchestrated all of it, because I believe that there's something that dances over me in delight at every fucked up iteration of my life. So that thing has it planned out so perfectly. And the part that's hard for me that I'm coming to terms with is that I don't get to know the plan all the time, and it doesn't always seem to make sense. I can learn as much from somebody who has a couple of hours sober as I can learn from somebody who has been here for 80 of these things. Because what happens is that thing that's bigger than me speaks through other people. And it's not them, it's not that story, it's that perfect thing that I have to hear, that I need to hear, that comes to me when I'm ready to hear it, from the person who is the channel for that love. And so that's why I'm here. I'm trying to be open to whatever I'm supposed to hear, whatever I'm supposed to receive, whoever I'm supposed to talk to. And that's hard for me because I like to have a plan, and I like to have a goal, and I like to say, okay, this is what needs to be worked on. So I'm just going to try to be open and experience this the way that my higher power has it worked out. So thank you all for being a part of that. I appreciate it.
My name's Neil Story, and I'm an alcoholic. By the grace of God, I haven't found it necessary to take a drink for 14,022 days. Now, I heard about a man, he said, my name is Joe Blow, and I haven't found it necessary to take a drink for 369 days. And somebody said, Joe, you're a liar. You were drunker than a dog last night. He said, I know, but it wasn't necessary. You know, to the newcomers, welcome. You are the lifeblood of Alcoholics Anonymous. The older I get, the more I realize that. You guys, I'm blessed with guys in my life that are keeping me sober. I can't stay sober without the newcomer. And I want to share a little bit about a man that some of you may remember if you're an old timer. Well, I moved from Michigan to Georgia in 1990, and my grand sponsor was from Lincolnton, Georgia. And I traveled a lot. My company actually gave me a car with keys and an expense account once I got sober. And I went to Lincolnton to spend some time with my grand sponsor, Jimmy Smith. And I sat on Jimmy's back porch, and I did that a lot. Whenever I'd come from Augusta back home, I'd always stop and see Jimmy. Well, in this one particular time, he had a couple of pieces of paper out there. They were registrations for the Rock. And he said, fill one out, you're going. And I said, okay. Why I mention that today is Jimmy used to be the one that would lead this meeting. Because when you came here, if you weren't happy, you saw Jimmy, you'd be happy, because he would tell you, you know, if you're happy, you ain't smiling, let your face know you're happy. Smile, try it. I got a lot of fond memories of this place. I got a lot of fond memories of life because of you. You know, I really do appreciate the newcomers especially. Take the time, guys, to go on, and I'll shut up after this. Take the time to go on the Atlanta Men Workshop webpage. One of those pages you can actually listen to speakers like Jimmy Smith. Most powerful, and listen to Bill Hollingsworth. Now I'm going back now. But you listen to Bill Hollingsworth, who might as well have been one of the founders. He's from Roanoke. But Bill talked about in his story, he talked about he just lost his wife. And he talked about how the Serenity Prayer and you carried him through it. So I'm just grateful to be here. Newcomers, I'm in cabin 41. If you want to talk, anytime. But this is the best decision you ever made, was being here right now. Thank you.
I'm Bill. I'm an alcoholic. It took every drink it took to get me here. And my first rock was 29 years ago. I had about 2 weeks, and a couple of old timers in the group thought it'd be a good idea for me to come down here. And one of them was Bill Fristow. He was speaking at the meeting. And you know, this was a springboard of a platform for me for the rest of my 29 years of good living, man. I mean, I don't ever want to go back. You know, as long as I come here and go to my meetings, I don't have to do that. And it's a good way to live. You just gotta listen to these wisdom in the room. Thank you.
Johnny Alcoholic. My first rock was in 2002, and for the next 6 years, I went to 2 rocks a year, and then I ended up drinking again. And the last rock I went to was in 2010, and I actually hauled ass down here on my motorcycle drunk. And I showed up here drunk. And for the people that were here for that, I definitely want to apologize. But Bill Sanders made sure I didn't make it in the auditorium very long. But since then, it's been a real struggle, and I definitely did not think I was going to make it back. Tomorrow, because I damn sure don't think I'm going to be drinking here today, I'll celebrate 8 months of sobriety, which is the longest that, the longest I've had in the last 15 years. And really, I say that to say that, I'm eternally grateful to places like this and to the men that saw the scumbag that I was out there, that are in this room, that never gave up on me, no matter what. And I think that's, the spirit of Alcoholics Anonymous and the spirit of Rock Eagle and the men that come to places like this, is that love that's shared between one alcoholic and another, and the miracle that it is to have sobriety and to have the 12 steps and to have the program that we have today. And so I'm just eternally grateful to be here and to be one of the many walking miracles like you guys are, because we're not unique, but we damn sure are all unique. So thanks for letting me share.
Okay. My name is Gary. I'm an alcoholic. My first rock was Rock 46, which is in 2004, which kind of makes me an advanced beginner around some of the people that have been coming here for just about forever. And I the yellow tags and so forth, that is really very important, but I'd also like to bring another aspect. The other aspect of keeping on coming back. Because after all, earlier there was a fellow by the name of Tennessee who was sharing here. And when I look at Tennessee, there's so much more to see. And I want to give you an example that in the fall of 2006, my sponsor, Bill Roop, was working up for 50 years of sobriety, which he was going to celebrate in January.
And Tennessee turns out to be a jeweler. So Tennessee wanted to make a gold medallion for my sponsor, Bill Roop. But as a result, Bill said that was an obscene way to spend money on to have a medallion like that made out of gold. But as it turned out, that a silver medallion was made by Tennessee and donated, and I had the opportunity to give that medallion to my sponsor in front of 700 people on January 7th of 2007. So you see, when I see Tennessee, I get this blast of a healthy memory. And the fact of the matter is, that's what, in many regards, when we see each other, there's such a celebration that, no kidding, that guy's still sober. That guy still wears the same sunglasses. The types of things that we end up saying all over again. It's just these little things mean so much if we keep on coming back. So for me, the best thing that I did when I was a newcomer is I kept on coming back, and that's what I hope the newcomers do today. Thanks.
Hey, family, I'm Michael. I'm an alcoholic and addict.
Stand up, Mike.
See, that's what works for me, y'all, because I belong. I want to read something to the newcomers, well, to me too. It's very vital that I keep this in mind because I forget shit. That's why we have books. There is a principle which is a bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, and which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. That principle is contempt prior to investigation. So if I'm closing my mind to the concept that I can't get any better, then goddamn it, I ain't gonna get no better. But if I have a chance to be willing to just to open my mind to something a little bit different from what I think that I have, then I got a chance to get better. So don't close your mind to why you're here, guys. You know, don't close your mind to the concept that you can't change. Just be open to the fact that it's possible that you can change. That's why we're here. I can't keep what I have. Don can't keep what he have. Brian can't keep what he have. Mike can't keep what he have without giving it away. That's what Bill and Bob did. They just talked about what was going on with it. So just open your mind to the possible fact that you can get better. Just let somebody know what's going on with you. That's all. Thanks.
My name is Bo. I'm an alcoholic. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. I think one of the guys asked to share an experience that you had. This is my second rock. My first one was back in March, so I was wearing a yellow one of these. And I, people kept saying, and you'll hear it, and you've heard it in here already, that, if you've got something inside that you think is the worst thing and you haven't shared it with anyone, just pick a stranger and do that. Just share it with them, right? So I kept hearing that all weekend, and I had a lot of fear around it. Something, I had a year and 2 months and had just finished working the steps back in March with my sponsor, but I didn't tell my sponsor about this thing. I haven't told my sister, who's got some time in recovery, none of my best friends. So I kept hearing this, and I went through the weekend, through all day Saturday, doing the workshops and the night speaker, and finally, on Sunday morning, walking to the auditorium, I picked a guy, total stranger. I said, "Hey, can you talk for a minute?" He said, "Absolutely." And we talked right out here by these rocks right out here for about 15 minutes, and I got it off my chest and my heart to this guy. And we talked, and he gave me some great suggestions about it. I got the guy's number, and we walked over to the auditorium for the closing speaker. And then 400 men got up in a circle to hold hands. And then you heard some audio from the guys who started this thing back in the 80s, and it was that real like mid-range 80s audio, what they were talking, right? I don't know how old it was. I'm just assuming it was the 80s. And then some guy came on and played Amazing Grace on bagpipes, and we all prayed, and I lost it. Like, my whole body was buzzing. I was crying. And that is an experience. It was amazing. God was there in that moment for me. I was overcome with love, and just a feeling of I don't know what. All I can tell you is that God was there with me in that moment. And so if you're wearing one of these that is yellow, I dare you to do the same. And that's all I got. Thank you.
My name's Merritt or Butch. I'm definitely an alcoholic. Obviously, my first time here. I'm from Leesburg, Florida, so we have the Central Florida Workshop. And I recognize a bunch of faces from coming down there, and that's why I'm here. Because you guys come down there, and I listen to you, and it's like Tennessee was like, come on, Butch, we're going to Atlanta. He's talked about Atlanta before, and I was like, sounds like fun, let me ask the wife. So I went home, and I said, hey, Tennessee wants me to go to Atlanta with him. Why are you going to Atlanta? I said, to go hang out with a bunch of sober men. She said, sounds like fun, have a nice week. And so here I am. Now, to let you know what kind of impression you guys have left on me in Florida, I came here to experience your rock. And so far I've had a lot of fun. But I've also bought the book that you all talk about, Drop the Rock. Now, I've been sober 35 years. Kind of got a handle on a lot of this. Kind of don't have a handle on it most days. But you've made such an impression over the years that I wanted to read that book to find out what you were talking about instead of me guessing what you're talking about, thinking I know what you're talking about. So I'm having a good time. Glad I'm here. Glad I've met some people standing in line today. We'll see you all this week.
My name's Colby. I'm an alcoholic. This is my second rock. I went to the rock this past March, and I had 3 days of sobriety, and now I have 7 months. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm still nervous, even though this is my second rock. So if you have a yellow lanyard on and you're nervous, come up and talk to me. We can relate on it. And you could probably have a yellow lanyard on and have more days of sobriety. Come up and talk to me. I would love to learn something from you. And I hope everybody has a blessed week. And thanks for letting me share.
All right, we got time for about 2 more guys. If you want to get that barbecue, everybody's running to get in line. Look at them. Mm-hmm.
Hey, my name's Rustin. I'm an alcoholic addict. You know, I got a little time clean. And I know when I came to the Rock, man, it was people who influenced me to come back. You know, it was Julian, Sherlock. I remember Doc in his wheelchair or whatever, he'd school around running over people's toes. But for me, it took me a while to come out too. You know, I come here and this is my government name, number one. And the things I used to do has changed. If people knew who I was, they wouldn't like me. So I'm one of those guys who was able to retire at 36 years old. I play professional ball, so I'm not going to tell you who I am. But I always thought I was special.
until I started seeing this guy the second time, and I heard his story. And John Evans and Julian told me, when you come back, bring somebody with you. And I did. And I do a lot of traveling, and when I travel, I don't sleep at night because I'm so excited to come to this place here in Central Florida. And for the new guys that's coming here, I'm telling you, your life is going to change. You stay on this path, it changes. I'm in that club they call No Matter What. I'm in that club, and I got my membership. I paid a lot to sit here, and I'm not giving it up. And I sit around these guys, and I follow these guys because, in other words, they are my idols. They saved my life because they tell me to do something and I do it. Because my best thinking got me here, and it didn't work. So I am happy to be here amongst you guys, man. I'm just sitting here shaking because I couldn't wait to get here. Coming through the gates, I mean, I'm driving down the road. We left at 7 o'clock this morning. We stopped and eat, and I'm still doing 100 coming here. I'm riding because I can't wait to get here. You know, but just enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Open up, because I'm an open book. And when I say open, I am completely open. There's nothing I got hidden in my closet now. Thanks for letting me share.
I'm Ray. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm 7 months sober, and I'm originally from Yonkers, New York. Now, being 7 months sober is something really important to me because as long as I've been sober since I was 8 years old. I've been drinking vodka and doing other drugs since then. Coke, crack, meth. And I'm just looking forward to getting whatever and everything I can from the rock, and I will be coming back in March. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. All right, guys. It's about that time. We're going to get up here for a second. If you have any questions, be sure that you go to all those cabins that were given out and ask those questions. And by the way, if you have not heard your assignment, go find it. Go find it. It is here, but you got to go find it. All right, let's circle up and close in our usual manner. All right, all right, all right. So let's take a moment of silence and let's pray for the guy that is on your left. All right, we're going to close with the Lord's Prayer.